Okay, so this video is going to be talking mainly about end clips and long channels in general. So the problem with long channels that people find is they get lines and mistakes. They make mistakes in lines. So the reason why they make lines and mistakes is two main reasons. First of all, the longer the channel, the harder it is to manoeuvre around a pane of glass. And secondly, they don't have enough soap in their solution. The more concentrated the soap is, the better contact the rubber has against the pane of glass, and for it to glide and take off the dirt, what's inside the solution. The more watery it is, the heavier it is, the runnier it is, and it's just much harder to work at, especially when it comes to long channels. So to change that, what they need to do is, well, if you work like me, you wouldn't have any difficulties at all. But a lot of people have a problem working the way I do. But if you work like I did, then you'll find that all your problems will be ironed out within a few minutes of working. So I'm going to just put my soap where it needs to go. So if they added more soap in their solution, in their bucket, they would find that they'll be able to glide better, the solution will be less runny, and they'll be able to manoeuvre a little bit better. So if they've got everything going in their favour with the solution, all they've got to do is improve their working ability. And the better the solution, the higher your ability will be. So when people say that they've got their 22-inch whatever channel they're using, especially a slimline channel, and a liquidator is a slimline channel as well, they often say, when I use it, I just get lines. Anything over a 16-inch channel, they say, I can't use because I get lines. So to stop your lines, work like this, and you will find that your working ways will be whole much easier to do. So I'm going to do again the most difficult but the quickest manoeuvre to do with the hardest liquidator channel, which is the 22-inch channel. Let me just prime this rubber. So I'm going to do the very most difficult manoeuvre, hand manoeuvre there is, but I'm going to do it backwards. So it's twice as hard again. So what I'm going to do is come round backwards, make sure I get all my position on top of that frame, come round. Now I'm going to now rub my hands over the glass, and if there was water and lines left, you'll see a sheeting effect. The only sheeting you're seeing is from my fingertips, because my fingertips are wet, but my hot arm is rubbing that pane of glass, and there is no residue on the glass. The reason there's no residue is because I'm using a light, concentrated, fluffy mixture that I made myself using concentrated dish soap, and I've got 100% results. So I like to have a clean window, even when I'm talking. I don't like having any fingerprints or anything like that over the glass, so I'm just going to make sure this window is completely clean, otherwise it would annoy me. Right, so I read a forum post the other day, and it was talking about Moerman selling 18-inch channels, 22-inch channels, knowing they don't work. Well, I've just used a 22-inch channel and I've got perfect results. So the people who are complaining, they're complaining because they can't use the tool, and they're blaming Moerman because they think that Moerman's selling tools that don't work. The problem is, the people who are using the tools don't know what they're doing. So if they had the knowledge, they would have the skill. I always say the same: if you've got the knowledge, you'll possess the skill, and if you've got the skill, you'll have the knowledge. I want to talk about high level skill, not just general skill. So I think we've got a police helicopter hovering around close by, so it's a bit bit of a background noise going on. So, with a long channel, problem is when you put the pressure on the glass, the pressure is dispersed less at the ends than it is around here. So the longer the channel, no matter what channel it is, and if you've got the 36-inch saw bows, the pressure is around here, but it's dispersed less here. So my advice is, the longer channel you've got when you've got these end clips, the more downward pressure you need. Even this 5.5-inch squeegee, the actual squeegee end clips are pushed down just a little bit more than what they originally come like. So what happened is, when the first end clips come out, they had a lot more downward pressure. They actually performed a lot better, but compared to these end clips. But the problem is, people couldn't adapt, couldn't change their way of working, and they were finding they were getting lines, no matter what size squeegee they were using, and they were getting this buckling effect. Now, someone made a video the other day about having a problem having a buckle. The buckling effect never ever happened to me. So why is it happening with other people, but all these problems that people are having, so-called having, like a buckling effect, why does it not happen to me? Well, the reason is, I work on a completely different level to everybody else, and one way of working on a different level is by adding soap onto your applicator, wet applicator that's been dipped in water. You won't get that buckling effect. So the guy who made the video, who's always having problems with the liquidator, it all stems from his working setup. So my rubber will never bend and buckle because there's no stickiness, there's no snagging, and there's no dryness on the glass. Whereas he is using one of these all the time to wet his pane of glass. There's not enough water on there, there's not enough soap on there, it's drying out straight away, and now he's having difficulties blading. But because I've only put a little bit of residue out of my bottle, I'm not having that problem because I've already set my working setup when I've put that wet washer on the soap on the glass. So I don't get these problems that other people get. Another problem that another YouTube, thankfully he's gone now off YouTube, he said that his end clips were not performing because there was too much downward pressure. Now, he propagated, if you lift up the end clip, then all your problems are fixed. So he made 1 or 2 videos when the liquidator first came out, and he said, oh, he's fixed his problem. But if you noticed, he kept making videos even years later still showing that he was having difficulties using the liquidators. The problem with him was his working ways and his working setup was ridiculously crap. So his skill level was poor, his knowledge was poor, and he was just making laborious video after video of nonsense. And another YouTube window cleaner talks about drilling holes here, 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 here. You know, what's that going to achieve? So the people who talk about modifications and they're having difficulties, they have to mod the channel or the end clip or something about the tool, because their ability on the glass is piss poor. There's a correlation between knowledge and skill level. So because I've got a high skill level, I've got a high knowledge, and vice versa. Well, they're not after me, so I ain't got nothing to worry about. This time I didn't do anything wrong. Right, so what Moerman did when they brought out their second end clips, they suggested that they were going to have less of a downward pressure. So their first end clips were very much pushed down, and they worked the best. But they only worked the best if you worked with my working setup. If you're just using a sloshy solution, then you're going to get lines, you're going to get problems, and you know, you're just not going to be able to get the tool to perform. So they suggested we're going to halve the downward pressure, and I said, oh, you don't want to do that, because the people who can use the tools will find that it's going to start skipping over low lying, low level rubber seals. On this kind of window it will work, but on low level seals it's going to skip up, and the longer the channel, the less pressure you got at the end. So, but they did it. They changed the actual plastic component, made it harder. They said if we make it harder, so it's less flexible, but with less downward pressure, it should balance out. But it didn't. There's less pressure on the new end clips than there is on the older end clips, and the older end clips perform better because there's more downward pressure. Another YouTube window cleaner, he also talks about modifying mainly wide body channels, and he talks about not adding downward pressure. But his way of working, his manoeuvrability, his solution, it's all much lower level than the way I work. He's never in his life had 100% clean and dry window, because he makes far too much mistakes. He goes far too fast. He's sloppy. He's messy, and he's another propagator of not putting downward pressure. If you don't put downward pressure on these end clips, then they ain't going to perform on all types of windows. You need the downward pressure. So Moerman made their new end clips with less downward pressure, and you know, I sort of said, well, if you do that, then you know, you're bowing to the people who have no knowledge. But they said, well, knowledge that is not good knowledge. Everybody's got an opinion, but my opinions are factual. They're scientifically based. I want to know why and how. Whereas most window cleaners who make YouTube videos, they just say, I can't use the tool, so I'm going to do this to it, I'm going to do this to it, and now it's going to work. But they never ever get the tool to work. Their techniques are pretty much bad anyway, and their solution's crap, and they're just making mistake after mistake after mistake, and none of their videos make sense. If you know, if you've got more in-depth knowledge, it's just drivel. They're just talking drivel. So, you know, the best person, you know, you're gonna listen to for advice on any type of using any tool. But I only talk about these tools because why would I want to talk about anything else? Because if I use anything else, I'll be working harder and slower. So I always use the highest performing squeegee on the highest performing window cleaner, and I have the highest performing knowledge to get the squeegee and my ability to get the window done 100% in the least amount of time. So yeah, so the forum post, why do Moerman sell 18-inch, 22-inch squeegees when they know they don't work? They only don't work because you can't use them. If you change your way of working, similar to how I work, you'll find that it works. And to make an even better performance, put this end clip in a very hot boiling water, put it at the end of a cup, push down, make sure the rubber goes down. Well, I always make sure that the end clip touches the rubber, so I know that if you look at the rubber at the moment, it's not touching. When they're brand new, we can push it down, and you look at the rubber and you see that the end clip's touching the rubber. You know you've moved it down. But it only works if you add the soap to the solution. You can put a load of soap in your bucket, but it's still too sloppy, it's still too runny. Unless the wash starts drying out, you're never going to get that consistency. That consistency is light, it's concentrated, it's not going anywhere. I've got controllability, and I've got glide, and I've got no lines. So everybody can express an opinion, but my opinions are not feelings, they're facts. You'll find the people who especially talk about these tools, the liquidators, the people who have difficulty time and time again are the people who don't have the knowledge, can't adapt, have a bad working setup, using bottles or using mixtures, concoctions that they think is the best thing since sliced bread. The only thing that's going to really work is use a high concentrated dish soap, put a little circle in there, or put a little line on your washer, wet your washer in a bucket, start working. That is the best way of working. And if you want high precision on these longer channels, then I would suggest you push the end clips down further. If you use my working setup, you won't get any lines. You'll get more hugging effect around the edges if you push the end clips down. And if you've got someone to moan about because their end clips are not pushed down further enough, then you can blame all the people who had the problems with using the end clips in the first place when the first generation end clips come out. They were the best end clips that ever came out, by the way. They had the best coverage as well as the best downward pressure, but because these so-called experts put out these videos and everybody copied them and everybody complained to Moerman that their end clips were pushed down too far, then they had to adapt, like most window cleaners don't like to do. They had to adapt their end clip to suit the masses. But in fact, the masses, unfortunately, are not great window cleaners. The experts are the people who take things to the next level, and I take things to the next level. I talk about things that are at the next level, and all the other YouTube window cleaners who talk about advice and ways of working and modifications, they ain't great window cleaners compared to someone like me. They might have more knowledge than the average Joe window cleaner, but I look at them and I think, well, I can work much quicker, much more effectively, higher standard, 100% detail-free results. These other guys can't do that, but they've got an expert opinion because they've got experience. Now, experience only means you've been doing something for a certain amount of time and you've got knowledge about what you're doing. But if it's not very good knowledge, or not very detailed or expertly thought out, then their experience ain't that great. Whereas the things that I talk about is scientific, it's how and why, and you know, I'm working on a completely different level. So I would suggest listen to the people who don't have problems using their tools, the people who are using the tools and are having difficulties, and they're saying we'll try this, we're going to drill holes here, we're going to dig up this patio here, and maybe that will make things better. These guys have no idea what they're doing. Their skill level is very low, their knowledge is very low, and you know, if you want to have a laugh, watch their videos, but don't take what they talk about seriously. And Moerman don't sell tools that don't work. Really, it's the end user. If you can't use the tools, they use the end clips that worked and people couldn't use them, and then they've changed their end clips to suit the masses and people still can't use them. That's because they don't know what they're doing, they don't have a right working setup, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the ability. They might think they're really good at what they're doing, but if you give them a bar squeegee, they'll be an expert. Give them one of these and they're in a whole heap of trouble. So thanks for watching my video. Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. That really doesn't bother me. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you scientifically why things work for me and why they don't work for the masses or work for these clowns who are on YouTube making these silly videos. It's I give you the right advice. You can take it or leave it. I don't care. I would advise take it, because you'll take your window cleaning to the next level, you'll make more money, and you'll be thanking me sooner rather than later.